Hello everyone, and welcome to another Flosstube. My name's Nicole, and I'm coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, here in Canada, where I live with my husband Barry and my wonderful rescued Rottweiler named Grace. So it's been about 2 weeks since I uploaded my first Flosstube, so here we are with number 2. I hope everybody has been doing well. I'd like to start out by saying welcome. Welcome to all of the returning subscribers. So happy to see you here again. And to any new subscribers, hello, thank you for dropping by. I have seen a little bit of an increase in subscribership, and the number of views on my first Flosstube was higher than I had anticipated. So yay! It seems like the Flosstube community has found me, at least a few of you anyway. So if this is the first time that you've been here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. For everyone, if you like what you see today, hit the like button, give me a comment down below. Engagement goes a long way to growing a channel. All right, so now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's get into some stitching, shall we? So as I said, it's been 2 weeks, so that's allowed me to get a good amount of stitching done. Those of you who have been with me before know that I do count my stitches. I am in the School of Magical Stitches and I follow those prompts, and usually they have something to do with counting stitches. So I count my stitches. So let's get right into it. Now, last week I showed almost all of these same projects, or last Flosstube, 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to be showing them in the same order. I'll be showing the last week's picture as where I was at, and then showing this week's picture as where I am now. So hopefully you'll be able to see some nice gains in the stitch work. And there is one at the very end, the last one I'll show you, wasn't actually in my rotation for the last filming, so it won't have a before picture. It will only have a current picture, and then I can grow my before picture library to be able to continue that as we go. So let's get right into it. The first one we'll talk about today is the bee. Now the bee is a PDF file from Pyro Dog Pins. I found them on Etsy, and I really liked the realism of this bee. So we'll show you where it was before and now where it is now. So this is where I am at with the bee currently. It is being stitched in. I always forget to grab something to put behind it. Everything else handy, but not that. One moment. There we go. So it's being stitched on Aida, on a white Aida, in all the called for DMC colors. I really liked how this one is charted up. I really am enjoying this stitch a lot. It's not terribly confetti heavy. There's a little bit, but not a lot. I would say this is a really good chart for, you know, someone who's interested in starting to get into more full coverage pieces, but not quite ready to take the plunge of a Haid. I think this one would probably be a good style to choose. I really like how this is coming together. So I put in 309 stitches on the bee. Now, all of the shops that I talk about, I will be linking down below in the description box. I do that every week, so if you are interested in anything I show, please feel free to check out what the shops have to offer. Next project to show you is Autumn Tree, and it is a Barbara Anna Designs. I actually won this pattern from the 911 Stitcher as one of her mystery charts. And I have put 457 stitches into this chart this week. So here is where I am at. I got this entire branch done, and a larger segment of the main trunk of the tree done. So really all that's left now, there's some imagery on here. I believe there's another crow here, perhaps another toadstool. There's another smaller branch here. Then the tree trunk goes to the bottom, and then there's the girl here, a fox, a little cat. So a few more elements left, but I do feel like this one is coming along quite well, and 457 stitches into that one. So this is being stitched on a 28 count hand-dyed linen from Hand Dyed by Rolanda, and that is also an Etsy page, or an Etsy shop that I will link below. All right, moving right along to the little summer piece that I had started last time as just a bare little start. I've gotten out of order. I am so sorry. Okay, there it is. Right? Yes, so the summer piece. So the summer piece is from Cross Stitch for All Seasons, a older cross stitch magazine. 2002 is the publication date. It is a pattern by Marjolein Bastin. It is a 4 chart collection that I showed last time, and I started out with summer because I needed some blue floss for stitching for a prompt, and I'm almost done this one. I totally intend for it to be a finished stitch for next week. And here it is. So I put 592 stitches into this piece, and I really like how this one is turning out. So the butterfly is complete other than his antennae. The flower is complete. The leaves are almost done. I think there's one more color to add in. And then there's the little bit of a border and a little bumblebee up in the corner. And then it will be complete. Now, I know last week I was struggling with how I was planning to finish this piece, and I think I am going to go ahead with a pillow finish. I now have an idea for a little spring display that the pillow finish will go really nicely with. So hopefully that'll be done for the next podcast. And that is being worked on a piece of, I want to say 14 count Aida. It's just a scrap of Aida I had lying around. All right, so moving on to the next chart. And the next thing I worked on was Happy Halloween. It is a PDF download from the WitchyStitcher. I downloaded it off of Etsy. I know the WitchyStitcher is in the process of moving her shop off of Etsy and onto her own website. Not sure how far along she's gotten in that. So this is where I was at. That will be coming up for you, and where I am now. All right, so there we go. So I have gotten a lot of the lettering done. A couple of bats. I'm not sure if those were done last time or not. But a lot of work on the lettering. The lettering is all in black, and then it is highlighted with oranges and the teal colors. Down below here, there's a pumpkin motif that will be worked in down below here. So I have put 318 stitches into Vintage Happy Halloween by the WitchyStitcher. And this is being stitched on, I believe it's an 18 count oatmeal Aida. And I believe I was able to get all of the called for DMC flosses on this. It does have quite a bit of the étoile in it. So the inside of the ears, a lot of the details in the eyes, the mouth, is the DMC étoile. So it's the sparkly, and it looks really neat. I'm really enjoying this piece. I really like that, that vintage look of the Vintage Happy Halloween piece. Moving right along to Ye Olde Coffee House. And I know last week I mistook, or I misspoke and called it Ye Olde Coffee Shop, but it's Ye Olde Coffee House. And it is a LittleHouse Needleworks design, again, out of an old Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is June of 2004, because, you know, never throw anything away. And this is what the chart will look like. Hopefully on the screen you'll be seeing where I was at, and now I can show you where I have gotten to. And I believe, yes, this is the piece I put the most work into. I don't know, there's just something about this one that, you know, it's one of those charts where it's just one more stitch, just one more stitch, just one more thread, just one more. And I find myself stitching when I shouldn't be on this piece. So I put 855 stitches into Ye Olde Coffee House. So I've gotten a lot done on this one. Moved into writing Ye Olde, and then we've got the C, so it'll be coffee house across here, and then there's another motif here, and then so a little bit more writing. So all in all, it should be about down to here as its finished length. So not too big, but that's because I am working it on a fairly small count. So again, Ada, yay Ada. I've hand dyed this myself with Rit dyes. Yeah. I'm using all DMCs, but not necessarily the called for colors. One of the big changes I made to the chart, so what I did is I picked colors from my floss, from my stash, that were close to the colors in the chart, just what I had. But one of the big changes I've made was with the house. The door on the house in the pattern is actually charted to be white, and I chose to chart it in the same red as the heart. The heart was the only thing really in the entire piece that used that burgundy red color, and I just wanted a little bit more. So I did the door of the house in the red. So that one is coming along nicely. I'm really liking how that one has developed. I look forward to having that hanging on my wall. And finally, one that I don't think I showed you last time, and it is called And So to Bed. It comes out of the Cross Stitch Crazy magazine, and it is the January 2019 issue. Now, in the magazine, they have finished it as a hot water bottle. Let me show you. Right there, as the hot water bottle. I will not be finishing it as a hot water bottle. I'm going to just be framing it and putting it on the wall in my bedroom. I did choose to stitch it on the navy Ada, as was in the chart in the magazine. I'm just not finishing it onto the water bottle. The colorway, however, I am more, again, stitching from stash and choosing my own colors. So it's all DMC stash colors. With a little bit of light effects in there as well. So this is where I am at. So I really like this font that they've used. It's very cursive, very pretty. There's 3 different purple colors in the word bed. So I've got 2 in bed done, and then up here will be and so. And you can see the moon here, and that's done in light effects. And then there's stars and sort of the shooting star trails, that sort of thing still to come. And as I said, I'm planning to frame this and have it as a piece in my bedroom. And I put 640 stitches into this last week. So this will be the chart that I can't show you where I was at because I didn't show it last time, but we'll be able to keep up with that as we go forward. So those are the pieces that I stitched on this week. I am really happy with the amount of progress that I made. I'm enjoying the rotation as I'm doing it. I don't necessarily have a set rotation, but I sort of go where the prompts of the School of Magical Stitches, where those prompts take me. I believe I had to do a fair amount of penalty stitching, which contributed to the high stitch counts. But that's okay. I sometimes, as you saw with the blue butterfly, I will you know, start a project in order to do a prompt, but most often I try and find something that'll fit, and if not, just take the penalty stitches and keep working. I don't want to get more than, you know, 6 or 7 whips at a time, or it will become too overwhelming for me and I won't get to see things finished. I like having the finishes up on the walls, so I like to actually be able to finish my projects as well. And I have quite a few to show you of new things that I have purchased and things that I want to be to get started. So I need to get some finishes done. All right, so I will be back in 2 seconds and we will get into some haul because there's been a bit. All right. Haul. Yes. I've managed to find some more things to add to the collection. I made a couple of online purchases where the charts have come in the mail. I did an Etsy purchase that I am super excited about. So let's get right into it and I'll show you. So those of us who have, well, let's face it, all of us have been following Market and seeing all the wonderful new patterns that are coming out, the new charts. Hopefully there's not too much FOMO going on out there, fear of missing out, and that people are, you know, not going overboard. Although if that's your jam, that's your jam. It's not mine. I don't want to have so many charts collected that I'll never be able to stitch them in my lifetime. I'm only buying the charts that I want to actually stitch. So, but first off, I did a order through 123 Stitch, and I got the Prairie Schooler. Sorry if there's some crinkling. Who's There? A cute little chart. I am very much a Halloween kind of stitcher, so you will always see that there's some Halloween charts on the go. And I am, the first time I have ordered this, it is a lambswool linen. It is a lot stiffer than the other linen that I'm working with, the hand-dyed linen from hand-dyed by Rolanda. So I think I might actually like this a little bit better. Being an Ada stitcher, I'm used to that stiffer fabric. Not so stiff that it stands up on its own, but that little bit of a stiffer fabric. I'm also an in-hand stitcher, so when the linen gets to be really soft, floppy linen, I do find it sometimes a challenge. So this will be interesting to work on, and the reason why I chose it is it's actually what the sample was stitched on. So I figured, why not give it a shot and see if I like the lambswool linen. So it is a 32 count, so a little bit of a smaller stitch size than the other linen I'm working on. So as a question out there to those of you who do a lot of stitching on linen, with a 32 count, do you find it better to work with a single thread or 2 strands? I will be working over 2, so, you know, just some recommendations out there. Would you recommend 1 strand or 2? So the next things I ordered came from the 1884 Stitchery. I can't remember who was talking about the 1884 Stitchery on their Flosstube, but of course, when people talk about other Flosstubers, I tend to hit the button and try and find them, and I did, and in one way I'm really excited, and another way, oh no, because I have found another amazing resource for some great patterns. So the first one I want to show you is a Blackbird Designs called Raven Bewitched. And this one just really spoke to me. It is actually worked in a few different colors. I know that on screen it often looks like it's just done in blacks, but there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colors in there. It is charted in Fancy Floss, but it has all the DMC conversions. I will most likely be using DMC. One day I'll take the plunge and try some Fancy Flosses. Maybe this is the one to do it with, since there's only 5 colors. Who knows? But I was really excited about this one. I love ravens. De Rabe, which is my company name, actually is German for the raven. So yeah, it makes sense, right? And then I found something that was truly amazing. Now, Hogan, as you know if you've clicked on my icon, is my last name, H-A-U-G-E-N. So it's not pronounced Hogan technically, but that is the pronunciation that the name has ended up with. It is my husband's last name. I did take his name when we got married. And he's been able to do through genealogy and traced his family back to Norway and whatnot. But this chart showed up in the 1884 stitchery. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. I will take a picture and we will insert it here. And it's actually called Great Grandma Johanne's Birth Sampler. And it is done by Heartstring Samplery. And there's lots of information about this lady. What made this a breathtaking moment of sorts is the name on it. It's Johanne Marie Hogan, spelt our way. It has the Norwegian flag on it, and reading through the little bit of genealogy included about Johanne Marie Hogan. She was born in Norway, or she is from Norway as well, and it was just very, kind of took my breath away a little bit. So the chart does come with the ability to change the names and whatnot. So I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to leave this as Johanne Marie Hogan or whether I will change that to one of my husband's relatives' names and make it very personal to our family. But just having our last name on there was a really exciting moment because it's not a last name that I see a lot. So it was very, very exciting to find that. And oh, I had to get it. I called my husband upstairs and said, honey, look, look. And yeah, I got all excited. So that one had to come. And I have to say that the shipping was very reasonable and came extremely quickly. So definitely a seller I will be going back to. And finally, I had a little bit of FOMO around the charts that were being released for market. And, you know, if you, while following other people, while watching other YouTubes, anytime anybody would ask, you know, what chart are you most excited about? What chart do you want to stitch? For me, I always went back to the same chart. Now, this designer did an amazing release video. It was so much fun. She played cat on her guitar, or played guitar on her cat, and jumped around. Had a really good time. Of course, I'm talking about Lindy Stitches. And as she was showing her amazing designs, and all of them were truly amazing, she showed one that took my breath away. And I knew right then I needed to stitch it. And that is Mary Mary Needleworker. And as soon as market was over, it was listed up in her Etsy shop. And I got the PDF version of that chart. And I am ecstatic. So this is the cover page of me. Now, I only ever print things out in black and white. I am so excited. So what is totally unique about this chart, well, to me, is that she came up with two completely separate colorways. And one is called the day chart, and one is the night chart. And this stitched in her night chart colors on the darker background. I knew the minute I saw it, I needed to stitch it. So I was incredibly excited to get this. And this is going to be bumped way up in the priority list of things to start stitching on. Now, this is the one that I thought, well, you know what, maybe I'll try specialty flosses, but this is going to eat up a lot of floss. Cost-wise, might be a little prohibitive. So I might pick one or two elements, like perhaps the Mary's skirt, and do that in a fancy floss, and then do just the rest in DMCs to try and keep my costing down. But I am so excited to get this one going. Did anybody else out there get this chart yet? Has anybody else started it? Should we do a stitch along? Just saying, I am so excited about this one. Those were my purchases. That's a lot of haul for me. I don't normally buy that much haul at once. Like I said, I try and keep my stitches to a reasonable 6 or 7 rotation, something that doesn't get overwhelming for me. And as one is finished, then I'll bring another one in. So one other thing that I would like to show you, well, there's a couple of things. I'd like to show you some fabric that I've dyed up, and an FFO. Oh yes, an FFO. So let me pause for 1 second and I'll be right back. All right, so those of you who have been around for a while will know and have followed me over from my crochet videos will know that I have an Etsy shop and that I sell all kinds of things on my Etsy shop. I hand dye yarn. I design crochet patterns. I have project bags, and I have recently started hand dyeing cross stitch. It's all Aida fabric right now, as well as designing and releasing my own cross stitch charts. I'm a busy person. Now, albeit the reason I have the time to do all these things is that I am currently unemployed. So this has become sort of my day job while I wait for something else to come up. So there's that. All right, so first off, I'd like to show you a couple of pieces of Aida that I have in my Etsy shop right now. I showed you the bare Aida last week, and this is what I have come up with from a dyed perspective. So I dye all of my Aida with RIT dyes so far. I haven't sort of delved outside of the RIT dye area yet. This one is done with yellow and red, so it's got some oranges in there from you know, the color mixing. I really quite like this one. It is a fairly bright yellow. I think it'll be great for a spring or an Easter type pattern. It is a 14 count Aida before dyeing. So after dyeing, it's a little tighter than that. And after dyeing, it measures 17 by 13. I really like the sort of pink splotches in there. I do heat set with an iron. And then the second new piece of Aida I have in the shop is a little bit more subtle. It is a lighter piece. I did not start out with a base color. I just started out with white and then added the other two colors onto white as opposed to dyeing it completely first. So it is a nice marbled effect with the yellows and the reds, but on a white base. So it's a much lighter in its color. So again, though, I think it would be appropriate for, you know, a spring or a summer piece, something nice and bright, but not as quite as challenging. I'll show them together as the first and the color differences there. This one is also that same 14 count Aida, although as I said, with the dyeing process, it does shrink the Aida a little bit, so it will be a little bit tighter than a 14 count now. And it again is 17 by 13 inches. And if you're interested in either of those, come on over and visit the Etsy shop. There are some other colors and other sizes of Aida cloth in there as well. And finally, my FFO. So I showed this to you last time as a finished object, but I hadn't fully finished it yet. And here it is. So this is Wish Upon a Snowflake, and it is designed by me. This is one of my cross-stitch designs that is available in my Etsy shop. It is charted to be worked up on 18 count Aida, and I have hand dyed this Aida fabric myself, and it is charted completely in DMC flosses. There are 5 DMC colors with an alternate light effects if you do so choose to use it. I have finished this on sticky board, and then a piece of lightweight cardboard covered in gingham, and then some different ribbons. So there is some burlap and some of this ribbon out of my fabric stash. And then I found this frame at Michael's. It is just one of their frames out of their framing department. I have put scrapbook paper under the glass of the frame, and then just put this using some Velcro. I've just Velcroed this to the front of the glass as the finish. That's going to allow me to sort of switch out this piece. Spring will eventually arrive, and it'll allow me to switch out that piece so I can use the frame, which goes with my decor very nicely for other pieces. So again, if you're interested at all in my designs, I encourage you to check out my Etsy shop, and I'll link it down below. And finally, I have a little bit of a giveaway to do. So I do like to do giveaways. They're fun. And for this giveaway, I would like to offer up a copy of my Wish Upon a Snowflake pattern, the chart that I just showed you. It is a PDF download. So what you will need to have in order to win this is, of course, an email address and an ability to read a PDF pattern. So a PDF reader on your computer or on your phone, or however it is that you read your PDF patterns. It is, I believe it's 3 pages or 3 files. So it comes with a cover page. It comes with 2 different charts. So a 1-page chart that sort of shows it all at one, and then the bigger chart that is broken up so it's easier to see the symbols. I really appreciate that when designers do that, because I have had real struggles in the past when it comes to the joins of patterns and getting them lined up correctly. So for me to have one overview of the entire pattern is very helpful. It's helped me a lot in the Autumn tree, the Barbara Anna designs that I showed you. It's helped me a lot in making sure that, because when it's broken down into the bits and pieces, sometimes one page only has the very top of one branch, and then the other parts of the branch are on other pages. And for me, it can just get very confusing. So I like to have one overview of the entire pattern. So how do you enter to win? Well, there are some rules. You must be 18, and that's so that you can legally give me your address, and legally give me your email address and all of that jazz. You must be subscribed to the channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Please don't mention the word giveaway in the comments. I want this to be for people who are watching the video and not people who are just searching out the word giveaway. And in order to enter, just let me know down below. I'd like to stitch the snowflakes. Snowflakes or snowflake, singular, or I guess plural would work as well. That's the word I will be searching for in order to draw a winner, and a winner will be chosen on the next Flosstube, which is, looking over at my calendar, let's see, today is the 12th of March, and the next Flosstube will be recorded on the 26th of March. So I will draw for a winner on the 26th of March and announce it on that Flosstube. All right, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending some of your crafty time with me. Until I see you again, remember to always choose kindness. Choose some time, make some time to be kind to yourself. Whether that means an extra few moments of stitching, just some quiet time, something for you. Do something for you. It's so important. Be kind to each other. Reach out. Help each other out. Remember basic human kindness. Sometimes I think we forget that in this world. Yeah, that's about all I've got for you today. Be kind to one another and get lots of stitching done. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.